Alright, so hi guys, my name is Aiyana Morris. I'm going to move away from this thing because I don't like my voice. But let's just start off. So have you guys ever wanted to do an activity, maybe a sport, really bad, but you couldn't afford it? I've had that experience, which is why I present to you my senior capstone, To the Athletes. So To the Athletes is a working website, and it is called To the Athletes because that's exactly what this website is for. It's for the people that strive to better themselves and give everything they have in a sport. And it's so they can afford that. So why I decided to do this as a project. So when I was first coming up with this idea, like last semester, because Dr. Bresser asked us to come up with ideas early, I wanted to try to make a difference actively in somebody's life with a project that I'm presenting to not only students, but faculty as well. And I thought it would be really important to have this as a project to show people that you are not ignored, you're not invisible. So in my experience, I had to personally purchase every part of equipment that I had in sports. And that's coming from a small Division II school. My dad would work overtime. He would wake up at the crack of dawn, come back at night, just so I could afford to do something that I loved. And we spent over $1,500, for example, on a carbon fiber pole. That's one pole. That is just one height as well. You need more than one height to get higher heights for competition, maybe personal records. And we would also have to travel to other schools in order to use their mats, because mats are expensive. They are understandably expensive, but they are also $15,000. And coming from a small Division II school, we couldn't afford them. So not only gas money, travel, we would have to pay for every single thing that we had. So I wanted everybody to be able to have the experience that I had, but without the stress. So a little bit about us. So I created this website using Webador, which is kind of like Wix. It's a free website builder. It's pretty easy to use, which is why I liked using it. To be included, what I included into my website is my personal experience, others' experiences, contact information for West Virginia high schools and colleges. So contact information includes the address, the principal's email, their phone number, and I will be adding things that they need once I get in contact with these schools. With having other people share their stories, and we'll go over that in a minute, I thought it would be really important because it signifies it isn't just one person that cares. It's a whole lot of people that care, and I thought it would make a difference in seeing other people's stories, and not just my own. On the homepage of my website, which I'll show you after I do my little presentation, I put 3 sections, and that is who are we, our goal, and what's it about. So To the Athletes has one goal: to have a website dedicated to the athletes. Our goal is to provide donations or equipment to athletes and schools that need it to continue what they love and what the students' love is. With more funding for equipment, that means better performance on and off the field. Our goal is to make sure no one stops something they love and they're passionate about because of finances. I want to give people those opportunities. Like, let's just think back to your high school or college days, whether you were an athlete or you knew someone that is an athlete or was an athlete. So some students, let's be real, only come to school for sports. And maybe that's what they love, or maybe that's how they get away from life. But for college students, maybe it's the same thing, but for some, that's the only way that they can afford a secondary education, a further education. So just think about that. Sports are a huge factor in college life. I mean, we have athletes in this room right now. So for my thing, I wanted to provide 3 services. and that's to get information on what equipment that schools or students need, to be able to contact the schools directly, and to have the trust to donate money or equipment and know that it will get to where it is intended. So I used 2 examples from my website, and you guys can see other examples when I go over that. But for this one, I used Barber County. You can see that I listed the address of 99 Horseshoe Drive. Yep. The phone number, the fax number, and for more information, that is the principal's email. I couldn't find his phone number, but it is what it is. That's the school's phone number. So I wanted to use West Virginia Wesleyan College as the example for colleges because we're at West Virginia Wesleyan. This is just a little map of all the colleges I will be listing. And I gave where our athletic department is, our education center, the whole college address. Jackie Hinton is the athletic director. So I listed her number, and her email. So one of my favorite things about this are the blogs. I had to find some pictures, sorry. I stalked her Facebook. But I thought blogs were really important to show others' experiences. And these are from current athletes or newly retired athletes. And I asked them a couple questions on their experience, what they've had to buy, and why a website like this would be important in their opinion. So first, we hear from Peyton Hefner, and I'm not going to read all of these things. Don't worry, guys. It's not going to be that boring, I hope. But Peyton has played volleyball for 15 years, and that's travel, school, everywhere, you know? 2 middle schools, she said, 2 high schools, and now college. She just now played and finished her collegiate career of fall 2022 season. So 15 years is a lot. She opened up about what all the equipment was and the different places she played at. They were all different, what they expected for you to buy. So for volleyball, what I think of, and I've never played volleyball in my life, is, oh, I just need knee pads. No, that is not the only thing that you need. You need so much stuff for just volleyball, just think. So another thing that you have to think about is, so she played on travel clubs, 2 middle schools, 2 high schools, college. Think about the travel fees, and think about seeing the funding that other schools out of state have that, you know, maybe your school doesn't. It kind of makes you feel kind of bad, you know, like you don't have everything that they have. So next is Kaylin Withrow. She did acro. And she was opening up to me about how she has had, and her team has had to do about 90% of their fundraising themselves. She also opened up, and I kind of understood because, you know, pole vault mats are at least $15,000. They are in dire need of acro mats. And acro mats are just a mat that you put on the floor. You know, it's not really something special, but they're still $10,000. And they can't afford those. So she also agreed with me that it would be a great resource for schools to use if they're not able to afford those sports equipment needed. So Iris, who's in the room with us, she had a very long blog. I had to cut it short. It's long on the website, don't worry. But she played almost every single sport imaginable, pretty much, from volleyball, lacrosse, cross country, anything that she could do, she would do it in high school. And she did lacrosse in college. So she was lucky enough to go to a school where people had just donated things that they weren't using. So she could use old spikes for cross country, but for volleyball, she had to buy knee pads, and for lacrosse, she had to buy a stick, gloves, goggles, a mouth guard, the whole ordeal. All right. So she also agreed that it would be genius to send equipment in and have it donated to people that are in dire need of it. And I mean, she's about to graduate college. What is she gonna do with all that equipment? Rayanne's was super long, so I kind of highlighted the money part of it. And Rayanne has done gymnastics her whole life since she was a little toddler. And she opened up to me about how much gymnastics is. So, for example, you have to buy 4 pairs a year of the wrist guards. She was going through them every 3 months. They have a life of 3 to 6 months. They're $65 a pair. That adds up to $260 a year just for wrist guards, or a pair of grips. So wristbands for under your grips are about $20. You need about 2 of them a year, which brings the cost to $300 a year just for swinging on bars. That doesn't include any other events that you need or are going to do. Then you need tape. Tape can range from $40 for 30 rolls or $62 for 32 rolls. Crazy that 2 extra rolls cost that much, you know. If you want to buy them singularly, they're $5 to $8. So also for wrist injuries, like buying wrist guards and stuff like that, they're $37 for each hand. And practice uniforms cost about $30 to $90 depending on the style, the material used. But competition uniforms cost from $200 to $500. You're wearing those once. And your warm-ups to come out of pocket. Can you guys see where I'm going with this? This is so much money that people are putting in from their own pocket, but it's sad. Because like she said, it's sad to see people who are extremely talented or have a love of doing a sport that they can't afford to stay in it. So this right here, on another note, is just a kind of contact example. I have that on my website. You can contact me, you can contact the school, whether that be a concern you have, a description, what they need, anything that you would like to say. To finish off my presentation part of it before I get to my website, I want you guys to think. Do you want to be part of something special and make a tiny difference, even if it's just a glove or a pair of goggles that somebody can't afford in someone's life, and continue what they love to do and have the same opportunity in sports? So thank you guys for taking the time to listen about my senior capstone project. Let's make a difference for the athletes and dedicate a website and hard work to the athletes.